Hello everybody, I'm feeling especially Christmassy this year.
Ho, 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 ho.
Donald J. Trump, president, is in office, and he has no problem saying Merry Christmas. He's not afraid that he's going to offend somebody by saying, hey look, I like Christmas. So Merry Christmas everybody. And speaking of Christmas time, in good American tradition, usually about the end of the year, we start having strange blips on the radar. And am I talking about Santa Claus and his sleigh full of reindeer? Actually, no. That's normally what happens at Christmas. But this year, something different is happening. All right, now you're probably wondering, what the hell am I talking about? That's kind of what I was saying, is John, what the hell is going on? Normally Christmas we have a little fun, we got Santa on the radar, this and that. For some reason, for some strange reason, it looks like there's some attempt at a legitimate UFO disclosure. Now, I've done several conspiracy videos in the past on this channel. And I talked about, in one of them, Antarctica. And what is going on in Antarctica. And another one, another video, I talked about Star Wars. That is, the potential seeding, panspermia, of the universe by an alien force billions of years ago. And we and other forms of life throughout the universe, whatever the shape the universe it is, whether it's a big donut or who knows, right? It was all seeded at this time. You know, and now it just fascinates me to no end that my whole life we've been told that if you have seen a UFO, you're a nutcase if you talk about it. We were told to laugh and make fun of people, right? We ridicule people publicly for talking about seeing UFOs. And even credible people like policemen and airline pilots, they're considered to be a little bit off their rocker, right? We shouldn't take them seriously. So for some reason, just in the last week, there is an attempt to give credibility to the UFO sightings. I would like you to watch this Tucker Carlson report with a naval pilot from 2004. Well, that's when the incident was. I want you to watch this, and then I'll get right back to you afterwards.
UFOs have been the stuff of conspiracy theorists for decades, often mocked for talking about it, but maybe they shouldn't be mocked. Commander David Fravor spent 18 years as a naval aviator, a pilot. In 2004, he had an unforgettable encounter with an aircraft he said was defying the laws of physics. Former Commander Fravor joins us tonight. Thanks a lot for coming on tonight. Tell us what you saw.
Well, we had launched on a routine training mission. When we joined up, we were told that the event was going to be canceled and that we had real-world tasking, and we were sent out to the west. Now, take in mind that this has taken place about 100 miles southwest of San Diego, between San Diego and Ensenada, Mexico,
Yep.
On a clear, perfect day, blue waters. We get out to the spot where they tell us it's at. We start looking around, and both airplanes see a disturbance in the water and a white 40-foot long tic-tac shaped object just hovering above the water, going forward, back, left, right. There's no rotor wash, there's no wings, nothing. So as we drive around in a clockwise flow, we get to about the 9 o'clock position, and I said, well, I'm going to go down and check it out, and the other jet is going to stay high. So as we go down, and when we get to the 12 o'clock position, it starts to mirror us. So it's in a clockwise flow, and it's on the opposite side of the circle from us. And we continue this. It's in a climb. We're in a descent. We're getting a great look at it. This whole thing takes about probably up to 5 minutes from the time we show up. I get over to the 8 o'clock position. It's at about the 2 o'clock position, and I decide I'm going to go and see what it is, and it's about 2,000 feet below me. And I cut across the circle, and as I get within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerates to the south in about 2 seconds and disappears.
What would you estimate the speed?
Oh, well above supersonic. It like a bullet out of a gun, it took off.
So from what you know about aerodynamics, mechanics, physics, should this be possible, what you saw?
Not with the technology that we have today. Not at all.
Even now, even 13 years later, is there anything that you know of capable of this kind of behavior?
No, there's nothing I know of. I mean, when we saw the video with the IR, it has no exhaust, no discernible things of anything form of propulsion. And this thing came from a dead hover over the water, just kind of moving around, to a climb up to about 12,000 feet to rapidly accelerating away in a climb, and in less than 2 seconds it was gone. And you figure you're talking 50 miles of visibility, and you can easily see an object that size easily out to 10 miles, and it just disappeared in seconds.
What would be the effects on a human pilot of the G-forces involved in that altitude change?
Well, the altitude wouldn't be bad. It would be the acceleration of the object.
That's right.
Honestly, I wanted to fly it.
Yeah,
but,
I bet.
There's, talking to some physicists, they don't think the human body could handle that kind of force with that acceleration.
It doesn't sound like the human body could. So bottom line, what do you think this was?
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
When presumably you expressed that belief to your superiors, what did they say?
Well, actually, we caught a lot of grief getting back to the boat, and it got passed off as an event that no one could explain. Now, keep in mind, they had been tracking these for 2 weeks prior to us seeing it, and this was the first time that manned airplanes had been airborne when the objects appeared.
This feels like a really big story to me. It's not exactly clear why Vladimir Putin's more interesting than this. I think this seems like a big deal. And Commander, I appreciate your taking the time to talk to us about it. You seem sober and believable, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Tucker.
Thanks.
Okay, now that is interesting. Tucker kind of played it off a little, but he talked to the guy with a straight face. The question I have is, are they going to introduce the concept of alien life or UFO disclosure? Now, this isn't the first time I've seen this. I've seen this for over the last week. In the world of UFOs, MUFON and ufology, an ex-rock star has been gathering money and talking about how he's going to bring it to the world. He's going to show the world that UFOs are real. So this video footage that was used in the Tucker Carlson news piece, that was released by the Department of Defense. And it has made its rounds not only in the UFO community, but on mainstream news, including the Tucker Carlson report. I walked into work the other day, was in the coffee bar area, and looked over, and there it was on the TV, that same exact footage. Now that footage there, it's not particularly clear. It's not particularly interesting. There is a turning pattern the pilot's in, and so is this unidentified flying object, the UFO. It's being presented as legitimate. It's being presented as this is happening. It was explained that this footage demonstrates a technology that is beyond our current capacity, current known capacity. So why am I talking to you about this? Why is this shit it's the fan material? Well, it is shit it's the fan material. You and I have been told our whole lives that if you talk about UFOs, you're a wacko. You're a lunatic, you're screwy, you're looking for attention, mommy and daddy didn't give you enough attention, whatever it is. but now it's being presented credibly. One of the early fears was, socially, will our world fall apart if it's exposed that there are other life forms other than us? So for over a century, life from another world, wherever that world is, has been considered. Whether it's Venus or Mars, Zeta Reticuli, wherever. Right? We've considered it. Will they come up? Will they be hostile? Will they kill us? We've seen every example, from War of the Worlds to Invasion of the Body Snatchers to Aliens, the movie that is, where there's all these different forms of life. Some are intelligent, some aren't. Some are benevolent, some are malevolent. In 1947 at Roswell, that's probably the most famous event, right? The Army came out, proclaimed publicly, we have a crashed saucer. From that point on, there was a saucer craze. Everyone's reporting them, seeing them, claiming they're being contacted by aliens. Since then, we've seen an evolution in this alien thing. And the 1950s and then 60s science fiction movies, right? They presented it 100 different ways. And then in, I think 1976, 77, Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind did a dramatic representation of what this contact would look like. This exposure of an alien species, it exposing itself to humanity, making its presence known. And that was received a certain kind of way. Different than all of these are bad alien guys. Now it was, we didn't quite understand in that movie, they looked a different way. Then E.T., the extra testicle, terrestrial, that was Steven Spielberg. He came out and presented aliens as benevolent, benign, just here on vacation getting lost. We saw the movie Independence Day with Will Smith. Great movie, very entertaining, where aliens showed up, the mothership had a bunch of other ships, and they came down and they just wanted to kill everybody. So they've taken us on this joyride, this roller coaster of UFO alien disclosure. The highs of what a great thing it would be to the lows of, oh my God, we're all going to die. And with the advent of computer technology, the merging of it with cinematography and Hollywood propaganda, we've gotten story after story. And we can no longer tell, because of the quality of special effects coming out of Hollywood. We can't tell the difference between reality, as long as we're seeing it on TV. Reality outside, and then what we see on TV or the silver screen. It is so real we couldn't tell the difference. So I'm now going to talk back to this naval pilot. I don't know if he was really in the Navy, but he claims he is. Tucker Carlson says he is. The news channel says he is. Is that footage real, or is that Hollywood special effects? Certainly it's not HD, it's low quality, but maybe that's what they had in 2004. Maybe that's what cameras in pilots' helmets in 2004 looked like. I can't say, I was never a naval pilot, right? But they're presenting this now. This guy's coming out, and he's not being ridiculed. This news story and this footage is being presented at this time in history as legitimate. The Department of Defense is not coming out saying this guy is a fucking wacko. They're not coming out saying this footage is bad. In fact, they're the ones that release the footage. We're not being told to laugh at this guy. We're being told to consider it and take it seriously. So the question I have as a prepper is, why? Why is this being presented? Why now? So a lot of times I make jokes. You guys know I have a sense of humor. But in this case, I'm not making a joke. Why the hell do they want us to consider this now? Don't we, as Americans, as civilians, as people of the world, don't we have enough to think about already? Isn't it bad enough that North Korea is developing nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missiles? Don't we have enough to worry about with our industrial base in America absolutely evaporating and being reconstituted in China and other places? Don't we have enough to worry about with the fight between Democrats and Republicans? With Brexit? With the international and national banking systems and banking cartels? Don't we have enough to worry about with energy depletion and peak oil coming and gone? We've got plenty to think about, literally. And now, it's not 2004, it's 2017. 2018. Now, 14 years later, the Department of Defense is going to let this out and then tell the pilot, hey, go ahead, go on national news and talk about this. Let's just throw some more shit in the air and have the fan blow it around. I mean, really, what am I supposed to think of this? I know there's some weird shit in this world. And I know there's some weird shit off the world. In the last 2 years, this flat earth craze has taken off. Alien people going off the hill, right? Now money can be anything. It can be paper, it can be gold and silver. Money can even be, or currency, cryptocurrency, which is numbers, right? Electronic numbers. Fine, let's just put value to electronic numbers then. The world seems to have gone off its rocker. And now they're taking something that normally we're told means you're off your rocker, and they're presenting it to us with open hands and saying, you need to consider this. This could be very real. So I'm going to go back to Antarctica. Interestingly, very powerful political, religious, and social figures have spent a lot of time down there. What are they finding in Antarctica? Is that why they are now saying we need to, in general, the public needs to start considering this? Even the Vatican, that is the Catholic Church, I guess they're going to baptize aliens when they show up, and we should, right, give them or recognize that God forgives their sins as well. And then I'm going to ask, well, if they've traveled halfway across the universe, thousands of millions of light years, I would hope that they're benevolent and good enough that they don't sin, right? They're not dangerous, in other words. But this question of why does it need to be taken seriously? Why now? We've got a lot of problems out there as preppers, right? So, I mean, quite literally, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. My plan now needs to take into consideration alien invasion. I mean, that's beyond the pale for me. I can't. I mean, how the fuck do you deal with that? So let's just assume that they're saying that they need to disclose that there are other forms of life. They need to do it, and that's why they're doing it. Maybe they have no other choice at this point except to disclose it, and they're using this manner to do it. The alien craft in the video isn't shooting back. Right? It's not threatening a major city. It's just flying through the air. It's benign. It seems harmless. Never mind all the reports about alien abduction and being probed, which none of us like. Never mind all of the ideas of disease-ridden aliens coming down and taking over the earth, a la zombies and body snatchers. Never mind all those alien videos about them wanting to eat us and then use us as incubatory vessels. Just assuming that they're nice and benevolent. Why now? Why not a year ago? Why not 20 years ago? Why have all of these other versions of alien realities, or alien potential realities, be brought to us by Hollywood? Can't the people in charge of the propaganda in this nation get their shit together and give us a single unified story by which to follow? Or is this it? Is this the beginning of them releasing this information? Will it cause shit to hit the fan? Just the release of the story? I don't think so. Right? No one's going crazy right now. Tucker Carlson pieces out. No one's screaming and yelling. Are they going to continue to introduce more footage? More release of classified information? To get us accustomed to the idea that there is a potentially authoritarian presence, at the very least, technologically advanced, out in the universe, and they're now making contact with us. You know, I am just by nature very suspicious. I think of this as another potential false flag. That they can tell us, that is our government, that the aliens say we need to do X, Y, Z. The aliens say that we need to use this form of money and get rid of this type of energy. Right? You're going to turn in your guns. We're going to get rid of oil as a fossil fuel that's required to power our automobiles, and we're going to get some alien technology. So all cars will be electric, and they can run on this clean energy, and we'll save the environment, save the universe. Is that why they're rolling this out now? If they roll out this type of energy source, this non-petroleum based energy source, what does that do for us here? Remember, the last video I just did was they're opening up Anwar to drill for oil. And they released that information at the same time they talked about our tax cut. I talked about the American system coming down and its requirement to have cheap energy in order to sustain our standard of living. Could this exposure to the alien stuff be a way of rolling out a new set of technology that'll keep America in its cheap energy system? And harken back to another video I did where I talked about empires falling. Empires rise and then they fall because they cannot sustain themselves. Is this an attempt to keep the Anglo-American Empire at the top of the heap by producing cheap energy and alien technology, whether it's alien or developed through black ops projects? Doesn't matter if they roll it out and it's real. Will that keep the Anglo-American Empire at the top of the technology curve, of the cheap energy curve, of world leadership curve, of the technology curve? Is that what's going on? Is that what's going to save America from an otherwise unavoidable crash that's coming economically? We're getting threats of war from China, North Korea, Russia, other nations, terror nations and nation states and terror groups. And that could happen to us, and that could bring our system down. Or are they going to release this alien technology and reveal to the public, yeah, we've been working with them for decades. We've been developing this technology so that we can put it into cars and into your homes. They've given us computers, and that technology's helped us stay ahead. Is that what's going on? Is this a measure that's being taken by the powers that be to keep America and the Anglo world on top? Or is this going to be a false flag event where they reveal aliens and then go with the Ronald Reagan version where he came out? Ronald Reagan did, I believe, 6 times in world public speeches where he said, what if, and he threw a what if out there. What if we were faced with the threat of an alien species? And I'm not quoting him, I'm paraphrasing. That would unite the world. And he made it sound like the aliens were a threat, and that they would bring the world together. At that time, it was the United States and the Soviet Union, major world conflict. But Ronald Reagan said, wouldn't that bring us together? Right? The brotherhood of man together to face this enemy out there. So which is it? Why are they doing this? There's a reason. Why is he not being presented as crazy? Why is the Department of Defense putting this information out? Are we going to get new technology released? And facts about our world history, the truth about history being revealed? Or are they going to release the truth they want us to know about and feed us a bunch of shit like we're mushrooms and give us just enough to keep us going, but definitely keep the Anglo-Americans ahead? Or are they going to use the exposure of the alien threat to cause shit to hit the fan. Literally. Have a pseudo-alien invasion and have them, the aliens, attack us technologically, militarily, so that they can blame the downfall of our current system on aliens. Once again, right, this is Santa Claus season. Normally the joke about unidentified objects is a fat guy in a red sleigh with reindeer. Now they're giving us this. What do you guys think? And this is legitimate. This is not a fucking joke. Right? And it's funny because we're supposed to look at any of this and go, what a joke. I can't believe they did that. This guy's a moron. Get him out of here. But it's not being presented that way. It's being presented as legitimate. So as preppers, we need to look at this from a legitimate frame of mind. As comical as that sounds, aliens and prepping. Are they going to release technology to keep our economy from failing? Or are they going to use this as a false flag attack scenario and bring everything down to blame the aliens, dispose of the Constitution, have shit hit the fan, and then you and I, right, all of us out here in the public world, get to muddle our way through life as this game plays out? What do you guys think? That's a weird one. I know it. I know it. There is not LSD in my scotch. I guarantee it, because I played the clip for you. I didn't do it. Tucker Carlson did it. Go yell at that guy for having this on. Crazy shit. And it wasn't just Tucker's show. I saw that footage being done by morning news channels, national news. I don't know if it was the Today Show or Good Morning America. It was one of those shows. Did a double take. Almost hurt my neck snapping it around to look at that UFO footage on mainstream television. What do you guys think? Merry Christmas. Chance favors the prepared mind. I can't ignore it. Now I have to consider it and make it part of my plan, part of my understanding, part of my consideration of what could happen. Go to the preparedmind.club. Take a look around there. We'll see if we can get some anti-alien preps on there. Jolene, get on that. Chop, chop. All right, guys. Semper Fi. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed and Merry Christmas to you all. What a weird, weird end of the year. Woo! Good stuff.